Welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial, we will install the software and applications that we will need to build mobile apps and websites and web apps using AI. So the first step will be to open your browser, and we will search for Java SDK, and we will go to this link, and in here, based on our platform, which can be Linux, Mac OS or Windows, we will choose the proper installer. So in this case, I'm going to choose the x64 installer. I'm going to open once it's been downloaded. I'm going to press yes. And now we will install Java. Just next, and wait. Now that this has been finished, we will close this. And the next step, we will have to go open the File Explorer. Go to our computer, this PC. Go to Properties. And we will go down to Advanced System Settings. On Advanced System Settings, we'll go to Environment Variables, and here we will add a new system variable. We'll call this one Java Home, and then we will put the path where Java just installed. So we'll go to the C drive, we'll go to Program Files, and we will find Java and then Java SDK. And we will just copy and put the path here. This will be required when building apps using Android Studio, and we will just go into that a bit later. We're going to click OK, and we're going to click OK. We're going to close this, and the next one will be to install Node.js, because depending on what kind of application is going to build, most of the times you will end up requiring having Node.js. In our case, it's already suggesting us what to use, but we're not going to use any of those. We're going to go and use the Windows installer. And we're going to double click to open. And we're going to accept the terms and conditions. And we're going to leave all this selected. We're going to add that as well. And we're going to press install, and we're going to wait. Now Node.js has finished the installation. So what we need to do next, then going to press enter, another enter, and just give this one to do this bit. Going to close this. We're going to go back to this PC. Going to go back to Properties, and I'm going to go back to Advanced System Settings. Going to go back to Environment Variables. We're going to add another one, and we're going to call this one Node Options. And I'm going to add following into the variables. Trust me, when you're working with little resources on your computer, you'll have issues starting Node.js applications because of this limitation. So this will allow you to increase a little bit how it's opening the files and most of this stuff. So let's click OK. Let's click OK. Let's close that, and we're just going to leave this one do its bits. So we're going to install the next thing that we're going to need. So the next thing that we need to go will be git bash, and I'm going to use the Windows. I'm going to use the setup, and I'm going to wait for this to open, and we're going to install this. This will help us to use git commands in our terminals without required to do something else. In the meanwhile, we can also go and get GitHub desktop. We need all of this. So why are we installing GitHub? If this is the first time you're trying to build or trying to understand how to build apps, what you realize is that AI is making a lot of changes to your code, and if you don't make backups or snapshots of your code, you can realize later that the AI has broken something, and there is no way for you to roll back to what was working before that. So in this case, we will use GitHub account to create a repository and then post our code into that repository and keep updating our code when is needed. So let's get that, and we're going to just leave that alone, and let's click again, and yep, so double click. So GitHub Desktop is asking us to actually either create an account and sign in. If you don't have an account, just go ahead and create one. If you have an account, just go ahead and sign into your account. Let me do that. Oopsie. So has been logged us in. We don't have any repositories yet, but we will create some in the next tutorials. So the next thing that we're going to install, just going to leave that finish its bits. Next thing is going to be Android Studio. So we're going to go ahead and Google that. If you plan to build mobile apps, you might need this. If you don't plan to do so, then you might not need all of these tools and software that I'm going to install. You might need or not need them. My advice is, if you have enough space and resources, go ahead and install them. It won't do any harm to your computer. And it's all requirements, so then we can go directly straight to the terminal page. And then there you go. Of course, we agree with terms and conditions. And this is going to take a little bit of time because it's quite a big size. So we will use next, next, and next, and again another, and install. While this is happening, the next thing that we need is a zip extractor and archiver tool. So in this case, I'm going to use 7-zip. If you prefer the Windows default one, you can use that, it's not an issue, or you can use something else that you already have. So I'm going to use this. And I need this tool to archive files or unarchive files, it depends on the case. The next thing that I believe you might need, it's called PuTTY. And this you need to access different virtual machines, or depends on the tools that requires you to access that through SSH. In this case, we're going to use the first one, but we're going to use the one down here, this link. From here, I'm going to use the installer, but there is a version that you can also download just the file itself. Why I'm going to use this installer? Because this also has the SSH generator of keys. So this way you can use the generator to generate SSH keys to access and secure your virtual machines or servers later if needed. So let's put a shortcut on the desktop as well, and let's install that. And there is another installation progress, which is this, so we need to wait for that to finish. And let's start that. Let's try again, and of course doesn't want to go, and don't send that. And I'm going to use next, and I'm going to choose standard, and then it's going to tell us that he needs to download some more files. And if you agree with that, yes, we need all of this. Next, and then we're going to accept, and I'm going to use finish, and we're going to let this one download and install its files. Let's try again, and this won't continue until we have finished installation of Android Studio. And meanwhile, The next tool that we actually need is called FileZilla. So let's go and get FileZilla client. This allows you to, this is a FTP client that allows you to connect to the virtual machines and access files. So let's go to show more additional options. I'm going to choose the one for our Windows version, and we're going to double click on it. And we're going to agree. We're going to use that. Next, let's put the desktop icon. Next, and install, of course. And this will go straight forward without any issues like PuTTY did. And we finish that. Let's start it to ensure that it works. And as you can see, it's up and running. Perfect. The next, let's see what this does, and let's see if this is going to start. It hasn't started yet, so let's wait for this to finish. So the next tool that we actually need is not a tool, but it's a programming language. It's called Python, and we're going to install Python. Why do we need Python? We might not need, or you might not need it, but I like to use Python to build beautiful web applications, and I'm using AI to do that. And in this case, you can also do that. There are so many other programming languages that you can use to choose and build web apps. From my experience and what I've tried so far, it's been working amazingly with Python. So I'm going to install this, and I'm going to make tutorials later so you can watch it and learn how to use it. However, if you don't need this, just don't install it, okay? So I'm going to choose Python for Windows. I'm going to use the installer, 64 bits. I'm going to open that. I'm going to, since it thinks I already have it, so that means I already set it up. Yep, I already set it up, but the installation path is quite simple. You just tick all the options and then go to the next and then install, and that's all it is. It's nothing more complicated than that. Wait for Python to finish, and then you have it installed. Let's see what Android done. So Android Studio has finished. So we're not going to create any projects for now. We just want to see if we just install it. And what we're going to do, we're going to try to run PuTTY, which has done his bit and has finished. I'm going to let Python to finish installation as well. In your case, it will be installation. Mine is just modifying. And now the next thing that we need to do is to start downloading the AI editors that we're going to use to build apps. So in our case, we're going to download Visual Studio Code. And choose the one that is for your platform. In my case, I'm going to choose user installer. Now that it's been downloaded, I'm just going to open. Yes, I accept. Next. Yes, and I want to create a desktop icon. I also want to open with code, and I want to open with code files and directories. So I'm going to tick all these options. And why I'm going to do that is when I right click on a file, I have the option to edit the file with Visual Studio Code. I'm going to do next, install. I'm going to wait for Visual Studio Code to finish. I'm going to close the browser meanwhile. I'm going to Python has finished installation, so I'm going to wait for this to finish as well. So now that this has finished, we're going to launch, start the application, and it's going to ask us if we want to set up Copilot. We're not going to do that. We're going to go ahead and search for GitHub Copilot. And as you can see, it's not been installed, so we're going to install it. After we have installed the GitHub Copilot, we can actually go ahead and use that for free because there's a free plan, or we can sign up for a 30 days trial plan to try it and build it that way. So either you create an account or either you sign up. It's up to you the way you want to do it. Okay. So I'm going to close this. Now the next AI editor that we need is called Windsurf. Now some of them, all of them are actually practically not free. They all cost money, so we will need that as well. But first, let's go with this. They cost money, but depending on your requirements and your expertise and trying to see which one fits best for your needs. I found that there's a combination between some of them, the way I work, then there's not one perfect or one which I said this is the best, I'm not going to choose another one. It depends on each one of them and depending on which case use you require it for. So let's do that. Next, we're going to create an icon. Yes, we want to open me on Windsurf. We're going to tick those options. We're going to press next, and we're going to install it. Now, this one has a cost, but like I said before, they all have some sort of cost. It depends on which one you're going to try to see which one best fits for your needs. I'm going to close that. I'm just waiting for Windsurf to finish. This has finished, so we can launch now. It will ask us to log in an account in order for us to be able to use it. That's the first thing it's going to ask us. So if it's asking if we want to import from a Visual Studio Code, we don't want that. We want a fresh, and then it's asking us if we want to sign in or create an account. It's up to us. We can skip that, and it will take us directly to the file explorer where we can open files and directories to start editing. But in order to use the AI, you'll need to have an account and you need to log in. And the next one on the list is the one built by a Chinese company called TikTok, and this is called Trae AI. And we're going. Sadly, this is a very good one, which I managed to test it for a little bit. It's been built by Amazon. The only problem is that they close the sign-up so nobody can log in. It's free of cost. So let's go to Trae.ai. I'm going to say download. I'm going to choose the Windows version. Like in the other software, we first must accept the terms and conditions and what is going to be installed. Yes, we want to open with this as well. Let's have more options to choose from. I'm going to just click it and install. Now we're going to wait for this to actually finish. So we're waiting for this to open and do the setup. So yes, we're going to allow the networking. I don't know why this one requires it. None of the others required, but this one seems like it needs it. So I'm assuming the Chinese wants to still load data. I'm just checking that. So getting started, choosing our theme and language, and then it's asking if you want to import from Visual Studio Code. We don't want to do that. And of course, let's install Trae as a command. Be ready to go. Either we can log in or we can skip this function. It's up to us the way we want to go ahead and proceed. Again, to be able to use the AI functionality, you must have an account, and I think you need to have a plan. But we're not going to do that now in this tutorial. And the next one you can have and try it will be a Visual Studio extension called Augment Code. And either you have the option to go ahead and install it from their website, or either you can go to extension in Visual Studio Code and try it that way. So in order for you to be able to install it from here, you actually must be logged in. So they're going to ask you to log in. Sure, I'm going to log in my email account. I'm going to install that, and I'm going to say that. The beautiful thing is with this extension is that once you open an account, it's going to allow you a week of free trial. That means you can try it for a week as a free of cost. Okay, so it's asking us if we want to sign in. In the second that we're going to sign in, is going to complain about the fact that we're having Copilot. Let's sign in with our Google account, and it's asking us to go back. Yes, we want to go back. And now it's going to complain about GitHub Copilot. For now, we're not going to disable this. We're going to continue. And for now, I believe those are the tools and software that you need to start building applications with AI. Either that is a mobile app, or either that is a web app, or it is a website. Whatever one of these you choose, you will need one of these tools. In the next tutorials, I'm going to cover on how to build mobile apps and how to build web apps, and more complexity that you understand. But I'm going to take it that type of steps that are easy for you to understand and how to do it. If you like the content, just click a like and subscribe. Thank you.